Right, ladies and gentlemen, we move on once again, so would you please welcome to the cage, Lorenzo Lusio. And would you welcome his opponent to the cage, Murrell. This is Amateur K1 over 3 2-minute rounds of action in the Bantamweight division. And in the blue corner, he weighed in at 60.9 kg. He represents the Minotaur gym, Lorenzo Lusio. And his opponent across the cage in the red corner. He weighed in at 59.6 kg. He represents Full Impact Thai Boxing, Murrell. Your referee, Mr. Dan Motherhady. So, Dean, from one end of the spectrum to the other, from the huge heavyweights to the bantamweights, Lorenzo Lusio, Minotaur gym, the shorter man in the blue corner, Murrell, Full Impact Thai Boxing, noticeably taller in the red.
Murrell possessing that reach advantage. You see if he utilizes that. He's got a good lead switch kick. He often goes high after he goes low, but...
That said, Lorenzo, a nice counter there to that lead leg. And you have to come to terms with this height disadvantage.
Murrell looking for a way in. He's gonna have to start checking kicks, moving that head. So be careful about rolling though, because a kick could come up when you roll your head to one side and catch you there. So,
as you said, Dean, the good thing with Murrell is the way he's kicking off both legs. He's targeting the legs of his opponent, and then you can bring those hands from that tall advantage, chopping down on him once you've taken the legs away.
Murrell's got some nice kicks. I love the way he just gets up on his lead leg and go to the ball of his feet and fly his leg all the way around like a baseball bat. Slams it in to Murrell, but give him with the trip.
And again, Lorenzo will have to be careful there so that it's not perceived as a throw when he pushes his man away here.
These body kicks have been, oi! Nice left hand from Lusio.
And as he does that, he has to take a punishing kick from Ben Murrell. And being honest here, Dean, if he's sensible and can keep to the tactic, Murrell can win this at distance just with those legs. He's got very good legs and chopping away. What he can't afford is Lorenzo to get in close like that. You've seen the danger of the man when he does get inside. And I like it when a small man knows what to do when he gets there. Getting there's just half the battle.
Lorenzo does a great job of putting his rear hand out so he can feel the arms of his counterpart in Murrell. He's going to gauge the distance there because he knows he's down on the reach advantage, and he'll move his head off to the side and look to land that body kick. Excellent Muay Thai skills being displayed from Lorenzo. But, I mean, this is K1, Malcolm, so we can't forget that they have to adhere to the one knee in the clinch rules. So almost certainly avoiding the clinch without dirty boxing is a must. But we've seen some impressive kicks from both fighters here, and I'd argue Lorenzo with the more fancier kicks in his arsenal.
For me, you're right, but the bread and butter technique of Ben Murrell with the length of those legs can actually win in this fight. When he did, as you said, the switch kicking and targeted both legs of Lorenzo, if he then gets on his bike and forces every single time Lorenzo to have to close the distance to engage and then boom out with the kicks, it's a hard way to win, but he can do it, and do it in a way with ease, with those tools that he's given. The fact that Lorenzo is moving in so well makes it difficult for him, but I would love to see, just from an objective viewpoint, if Ben Murrell would keep it at range, but he steps immediately in to contact range for Lorenzo.
Faking the jab out. He's looking for that overhand right. But Murrell needs to keep busy, can't let Lorenzo sit back and fire off kicks and circle out. He needs to close him down, cut him off just like that. See, he went laterally, and now he's got to fire. He's got to keep these punches coming in bunches.
I love the lack of backlift from Lorenzo. It just comes snaking up. And as I said, once they're in engagement reach for him, he maximizes his time in there, which I like to see.
Lorenzo landing a nice left hand.
Now, Dean, when you've got the teep as a defensive weapon with those long legs, when you've got that lead leg to chop at the lead leg of Lorenzo, this is frustrating when Ben Murrell allows himself to be caught like that. But he's coming in square, he's negating that, and he's actually coming into Lorenzo's range.
So Murrell is using fakes. He'll lift his lead knee up to fake the kick and then go upstairs. Exactly what he needs to do. Because while he's doing that, he's making Lorenzo think what's coming next. And if he's thinking, he's not firing off his own shots.
Well, at the moment, as I said, Ben stalking, but Lorenzo catches the leg again and replies, and then the teep. It's the shorter man there using the teep as the defensive mechanism, and then comes over the top with the left hand. In terms of strategy, Lorenzo is winning in pure strategy terms at the moment, Dean.
He's doing a great job of keeping tight, firing the leg kicks and then moving off. He got caught there, but it was just a glancing blow. He's really a master of the distance, being the shorter man.
Yes, and Ben Murrell has spent a lot of time chasing, not using those God-given tools with that height and reach advantage. That's better, but he needs to utilize that far more throughout the round.
Interesting K1 action, and I love the way that it's almost watching a kinetic chess match, because both of these athletes are trying to find a way in, and there is a reach advantage here, but Lorenzo's doing a great job utilizing his footwork and mixing up his strikes.
You're right, Dean, and for me, he is taking the rounds, and you look at Ben Murrell, when he does something, he does it well, and it's punishing, but he doesn't do it enough, and he spends far too much time in his smaller opponent's zone. And Lorenzo, as you said, is so good at mixing it up with such variety. He doesn't want to be there, he doesn't need to be there. So third and final round. And we feel that Lorenzo Lusio is probably controlling this here, but this is what Ben Murrell needs. Now that teep for him is such a good way to take his opponent off balance. From that lead leg, or the rear leg with the length of his legs there, and then respond once more with his hands, but he allows Lorenzo to regroup too often.
As of yet, the way Lorenzo hasn't found an answer to that teep. If Murrell can fake the teep, so lift his knee up and then question mark kick high. Might be able to catch Lorenzo slipping.
Well, it's the best start, I will say, for the red corner to the round. And if nothing else, it's simply because he's more active.
Can hear the crowd here shout, "Oi!" And they'll often do that. They'll do that in Thailand when a beautiful kick lands, a crazy elbow or knee. Of course, there's no elbows in this contest, but the kicks are still blasting through.
They'll also do it when it doesn't land cleanly to try and impress the judges as well. It's a tactic that can be used in various ways.
It just adds to the atmosphere here at the LFC. I'm so happy to be here alongside Malcolm Martin commentating, and we're really being treated to a K1 fight in front of us. Body kick again by Lorenzo. You see the reddening now of Murrell's body, Malcolm.
Yes, but you know what? This is still the best round of the bout so far for Murrell, simply because he's reacting and responding and throwing out his own work as well. And again, that knee comes up effortlessly. He's got to be careful of it because on the amateur rules. But for me, when he looks this back, he's been caught far too much by the shorter man across the 3 rounds.
Lorenzo's doing a great job of being able to press forward, and what he's doing when he feels like he's being pushed back, he'll fire the teep, and then he'll couple that with strikes to the head, which is forcing Murrell back. The guy's looking for the teep just there.
Well, we've talked about the styles, Dean, and the strategies, and I've got to say, across the 3 rounds, Lorenzo's strategy has worked. It was an entertaining bout. The third was the best for Murrell, but he didn't use his tools as well as Lorenzo in the opposite corner. His strategy really worked cleanly.
Lorenzo Lusio just more technically savvy and a master of this footwork, and indeed the kicks. But we will go to the judges' scorecards once again here at the LFC 11.
Ladies and gentlemen, another superb bout from these 2 young men. Please, let's hear it for both your kickboxers in the cage. But we do have a unanimous decision. Our judges all in favor of the blue corner, Lorenzo Lusio.